I want every Ambazonian to rest assured. We are not looking back. These are some of the best moments that we have dreamed of for this revolution. And what we are seeing beginning to happen, that within a week, Mr. Biya will sign a decree for disarmament. And then number two, he will then make an announcement announcing the potential release of 289 orders. Within a week, I must tell you something has happened and you will hear from me. All right, I think at this moment, there is no reason why I should keep you waiting and keep Ground Zero waiting. I guess they all want to get to bed tonight. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Ambazonians. Today, December the 13th, French Cameroon media announced that Paul Biya has, everything in French Cameroon must be Paul Biya. They give food to the prisoners is from Paul Biya. They do everything. The degree is by Paul Biya. Every gift is from Paul Biya. Every announcement is from Paul Biya. What a terrible country. What a terrible country. That one old man, over 36 years in power, does every single thing. Those ministers who are sitting there taking everything from him should be ashamed of themselves, that they will sit there and the least noise that is made is from Paul Biya, and they think that is okay. Come on. But let me get on. So today, December the 13th, they announced that they are going to release some 289 Ambazonians who are in their custody in French Cameroon. Now, this is coming in the wake of the recent disarmament decree signed last week that would see the laying down of arms of our restoration fighters. They call it they consider it their own peace plan. Now, the disarmament decree came without any form of negotiation with us, Ambazonians or Southern Cameroonians. We call it death before arrival. It meant absolutely nothing to us. Now today, they follow that up with this announcement that would see the release of 289 orders. Now, let me explain to you why all this is happening. All this is happening because Mr. Biya is under tremendous pressure. The international community finally is behind him. He has an ultimatum to resolve this crisis, failing which they will resolve it for him. And what is he trying to do? He has now signed a decree indicating that he wants to make peace with the secessionists, as he calls all of us, with the terrorists, as he calls all of us. And he sits in Yaoundé and think that a mere decree will get us running to him, laying down our arms and running to him. He has just done that. Now today, he makes the announcement following up on that presidential decree, announcing the release of these 289 people. What is happening again is Mr. Biya is under tremendous pressure to resolve this conflict. But Mr. Biya is just trying to do some window dressing here. First, we remember Paul Biya declared this war, and he is trying to end the war without declaring an end to the war. And he expects us to lay down our arms. Now, the announcement that came today, I have heard some people say that, oh no, I think we should not accept it. No, I really think we should accept it because we need more fighters. Let Paul Biya send out the 289 people so they may join us and pick more arms, and let's prosecute this war. That is the way I look at it. We need more people to join to pick up arms against La République du Cameroon. We can no longer sit behind and hide the fact that we need to prosecute. Everyone Southern Cameroonian needs to get involved in this war. If ever our arms have grown, this is the moment, and we welcome those he is releasing from prison. Let them come and join the battle. That is what I think. Now, Mr. Biya says he is releasing 289 people. The question that we are asking Mr. Biya is, how many Ambazonians do we have in detention centers? They do not disclose who is on that list yet, and maybe we're hoping that maybe by tomorrow we will see who is in the list. But we have 289 people they have promised to release. They have not explained to anyone where those 289 people are coming from. Now this is very, very important because we have over 600 Ambazonians being held in detention center at the Bamenda prison alone. Up in Biya prison, we have at least another 600 held in detention in Biya. In Yaoundé, between the center prison and Kondengue principal prison, we have close to another 1,000 others who are held in there. In Sed, where Sisiku and others were just taken from, we have over 200 Ambazonians still being held at that detention center. And we have actually learned of the severe torture that these our comrades, our brothers, they go through at Sed. We were told that every night, Sisiku and others could hear our brothers under the basement in Sed Yaoundé weeping, crying from the torture that is being meted upon them. So at the center at Sed in Yaoundé, we have over 200 Ambazonians at that detention center alone. Now, Mr. Biya says he is releasing 289. We have not mentioned those who are being held in Douala, those being held in Mbunda, those being held in Bafoussam, those being held in Cham. They are not mentioned. We do not know the figures. So, does Mr. Biya expect us to be celebrating when he says he is releasing 289 out of over 3,000 Ambazonians being held behind bars, abducted? Does he want us to begin to celebrate? How can we celebrate for the release of some 289 people when thousands more are still being held behind bars? If this is not called window dressing, a ploy to deceive, what should it be called? We recall that a year ago, they sent out Barrister Agbobala and Dr. Fontaine Neba from detention, and they kept orders, and those orders are still in their detention centers. So what Mr. Biya is trying to do is to send out these 289 orders, and then he will tell the international community, I am beginning to sort out the solution to the crisis. I have signed a decree asking for peace, asking for those who can lay down their arms to lay down their arms, and we will reintegrate them into the community. And he will also say, I have also signed a decree asking that all the some of the prisoners, they say that these were the prisoners who committed only misdemeanors. Yeah, that was their offense. These 289, according to that announcement, committed only misdemeanors. No, a misdemeanor is a minor crime. It's a minor crime that somebody commits. It is not worth entering in your criminal record. I mean, in the context of US and maybe European law. In the US, when you commit a misdemeanor, it's a small crime. It doesn't go into your criminal record, which means it doesn't really matter. It's like running the red light. It's like cursing somebody or attacking somebody or fighting somebody. It's a small crime. So if all these 289 people, Mr. Biya, if all these people committed only misdemeanors, what were they doing in the military tribunal, sir? What were they doing in the military tribunal? If these people committed only misdemeanors as you want the world to believe, what have they been doing in detention centers and you charge them to a military tribunal in the first place if they committed only misdemeanors? And let me also ask you, you said before that they were terrorists. They committed terrorist crimes. If they were truly terrorists, how come you are releasing terrorists? Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Ambazonians, there is pressure. There is pressure. That is all that we can tell you. We are winning this war. And seeing what we are seeing, we can only go ahead with more determination, with more resilience to prosecute this war with the fullness of all the resources within our reach. Let me speak to ground zero for a moment. I know that some of you will begin to get frustrated. Some of you were getting tired and you are wondering, shall we ever win this war? Or when will this war come to an end? I do not want to promise you that the war will end tomorrow. And I do not want to promise you the war is ending next year. But listen to me. And it shall end. And win. We must win. Nothing that Mr. Biya is doing is going to placate us. Nothing that Mr. Biya is doing is going to convince us to lay down a single arm in our territory. If anything, let this stir each and every one of us to be determined that come what may, we must prosecute this war to the end. Yes, we must prosecute this war to the end. What Paul Biya has done is a distraction. It's a distraction. He is trying to play to the gallery. He is trying to please the international community. He is trying to play to the Commonwealth, to the European Union, to the USA, to all powers that matter. But I want to assure you, I want to assure Mr. Biya, we have only just started this war. Now, the interim government has said to Mr. Biya, the only thing that we want to cooperate with you is, the only thing we would want to cooperate with you about is, number one, when you pull out your troops from our territory. Pull out your troops from our territory. Number two, release every Ambazonian, not 289. You got to release every single Ambazonian being held in your dungeons. We expect our president, Sisiko Julius Ayoktabe, to be released. And by the way, Mr. Biya is still living in the illusion that he is the president of our Ambazonians. We can never emphasize this enough, that no, Mr. Paul Biya, you are president of French Cameroon. The president of the Southern Cameroons, Ambazonia, is Sisiko Julius Ayoktabe. We want you, the only moment we will take what you are doing seriously is when you have released all of them from Central Prison and Principal Prison in Kondenge. Those Nomvi Waters and the rest up in Bamenda, those in Biya, those in Mbunda, those in Bafoussam, those in Cham, those in Douala. Until these, all your prison doors are open and our people leave those detention centers. And of course, those in Manfe too. We saw that old man rotting up in a detention center in Manfe. Until all of those people are released, Mr. President, Mr. Biya, who say that everything you are trying to do is a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. We know that you are cash strapped and you need money to continue to run your administration. There is no gift. There is no gift. There is no gift that this interim government is going to accept that is short of the release of every Ambazonian in French Cameroon detention and even those within Ambazonia. They are all abductees. We don't consider them prisoners. We consider them abductees. Sisiko and others made it very, very clear the other day that they are not Cameroonians. They said they are not Cameroonians. Every Ambazonian being held in French Cameroon is not Cameroonian. They are Ambazonians. And so for Mr. Biya to sit there and sign a decree and make an announcement ordering their release, he should be told their detention is illegal in the first place. Now, I'd like to ask Mr. President, Mr. Paul Biya. Mr. Biya wants to release 289 of our brothers, maybe sisters, who are being held in the detention centers. After he has released them, where will they go to? Which homes, which houses are they going to? And what about those who have died? Is Mr. Biya going to sign a decree that brings them back to life? Or what is he going to do? Well, let us welcome the release of the 289. We want Mr. Biya to understand that these 289 that he releases from tomorrow, they need reparations. They need compensations for their abduction and illegal detentions, because you cannot charge them to a military tribunal and then turn around to say they committed misdemeanors. Those are two different things. We are expecting that the moment they set their foot out there, there will be reparations paid to every single one of them and their families. Right. Let me also state again very clearly that these are the conditions, the conditions under which this interim government would sit on any table with Paul Biya. And sitting on any table means sitting on table to decide on the form, not deciding on the form of state for Ambazonia, but sitting on the table to decide how we separate our ways, what becomes of the resources, electricity, all the resources that have hitherto been managed by French Cameroon, resources that belong to Ambazonia. That is what sitting on the table means. Because I think that the Republic of Cameroon should understand that they are not going to decide our independence for us. The United Nations will not decide our independence. The European Union will not decide our independence. The Commonwealth will not decide our independence. Ambazonians, we ourselves shall decide about our independence. It is all about us. And so when we say sitting down with Paul Biya to discuss our form of state, we are essentially talking about the resources. The resources. So these are the conditions under which this interim government is going to sit down to talk with Paul Biya. Again, all of those arrested must be freed. Again, they must be freed. All of those arrested unconditionally freed, giving amnesty. Number 2, all soldiers, colonial soldiers on the streets of Ambazonia, they must be removed before any talk of sitting down on the table can take place. Number 3, all colonial administrators, the so-called divisional officers in our territory, they must leave. The DOs, the mayors, elected members of the CPDM, and every French Cameroon administrator in our territory, they have to leave before there can be a sit-down discussion on the way forward concerning this conflict. Number 4, reparations must be paid. Reparations must be paid to every detainee, and of course all the displaced persons and all the refugees who are in Nigeria and elsewhere. Until all of this has taken place, we are not laying down a single machine gun. We are not laying down not even a bullet. We will prosecute this war and prosecute this war until we get to Biya. And let me add this: economic sabotage must continue. Every Ambazonian on ground zero, you don't have to pay taxes to La République du Cameroon. Every business person on ground zero, you don't have to pay any tax to your city council or your local government. You are paying it, they are using it to buy arms, to buy bullets, to kill your brothers and to kill your sisters. We must cease from doing that. No drop of oil must cross over to La République du Cameroon. No food should cross over to La République du Cameroon. In fact, if possible, every road leading to La République du Cameroon should be cut off. We must strangulate these people to let them know we mean business. If there is no peace in our territory, there must be no peace in their own territory. So that is a message I wanted to bring to you today. This release, 289 people, has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with the cause of this struggle. If anything, we have only just started. Again, we have only just started. Let me make the last appeal to every Ambazonian out there. My brothers and my sisters, what we need at this moment in this war is not some structures. What we need at this moment is money. Money, and I will never be shy of talking about money. Without money, we cannot talk about diplomacy. Without money, we cannot defend our brothers, our leaders in detention. Without money, we cannot supply our fighters on the ground with what they need. Without money, there is nothing that we can do. Without money, I cannot come to you over television. If you have ever cared about this struggle, this is the moment. I am challenging every Ambazonian please go to the website ambazoniagov.org. ambazoniagov.org. Make a donation for the prosecution of this war. We have gotten to the stage where all that counts is our ability to prosecute the war. Without the money, there is no way we can prosecute this war. So please, go on the website, ambazoniagov.org, register, sign up for your monthly dues. If you want to do a one-time payment, please go ahead and do that. We have caught Paul Biya for Ikanas. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Ground Zero. Stay strong. And again, I am asking every one of our generals on the ground. You have done lots of audios and videos. If the time have ever been better, it is now for you to step out. Send a strong message to La République du Cameroon and Paul Biya. There is no laying down of a single arm until Biya. We have arrived. God bless you all, and thank you for tuning in. Good night.